All right, guys, so we're back here again. Happy Thursday. We are multiplying a binomial by a binomial again today. We are spending a second day. This is how important it is that you guys understand how to multiply a binomial by a binomial. Like I said, in a month, we're going to learn how to undo everything we've been doing, how to go backwards, okay? So you guys know the drill. Same thing as yesterday, I'll be collecting your guys' notes and the class activities. So make sure you guys are following along. You guys are doing the examples, working them out as we do them. And then again, I would say maybe keep the front side for all your notes, and then on the back side of your paper, you can use that for the class activity. Okay, so you guys know the drill. Copy down that title. Multiplying polynomial expressions is day 2. We'll jump right into it. Okay, so the goal by tomorrow, again, we're practicing this again. Why are we spending so much time on adding, subtracting, and now multiplying polynomials? This is very, very important. I cannot stress it enough. And again, this is not an addition problem. There's no plus or minus in between these guys. There's just a empty space, which we again assume that that's going to be a multiplication problem. And I showed you guys 2 different ways. You either had double distribution or you had the Punnett square. All right, so let's run through a few more examples just so that we get in that practice. Okay, so I'll do both of these with you. I know it says only pick one, but I'll actually do this with you so you can just follow along. All right, so I'll show you guys both methods. For the first one here, I'll do the Punnett square. Okay, so you guys get an idea for both. So if you guys like the Punnett square from yesterday, okay, so you create your Punnett square. All right, just kind of like biology. You take your first binomial, we put x, and then that's a positive 4, so we put plus 4 up top. And then your second binomial, and you write it on the side, x, and that's a negative 3, so we put minus 3 on the side. Okay, now how do we fill the stuff on the inside? Well, this is a multiplication problem, so we're going to multiply. What is x times x? That's x to the second power. All right, remember those ones? Okay. What is 4 times x? That's just positive 4x. What is x times negative 3? That's just negative 3x. And then lastly, what's 4 times negative 3? That's negative 12. So our answer is actually right there inside in blue. I just have to put it in standard form and clean up anything I can. All right, any like terms that we see. So let's start with standard form. That says x to the second power. That's the biggest degree I got, so that one's going to come first, and there was nobody to combine it with. Then I move on to the x's. Well, I have a 4x and I have a negative 3x diagonally here, which I can actually combine. 4x's minus 3x's gives you positive 1x. Okay, and then lastly, it was just a minus 12. And that's our final answer. We can't combine anything else. That is it. That's how you multiply a binomial by a binomial using the Punnett square. Okay, now let's try the next one over here on the right. And for this one, again, I'll show you guys the other way, double distribution. All right, it's up to you which way you want to multiply the binomials. But again, like I said, the Punnett square in the long run is going to be a little bit more useful when we do go backwards. All right, but let's run through this. 3, so for double distribution, you're going to distribute the first one times both of the second ones. So what I mean by that is you do 3x times negative 6x. Well, what's 3 times negative 6? Negative 18. And what happens with the x times the x? We get x to the second power. All right. Let's multiply now 3x times the second term over there. What's 3x's times positive 2? Well, 3 times positive 2 is positive 6. And don't forget that x, there was no other x's to combine it with, so it stays as just 6x. Okay? Then that's the first distribution. Why is it called double distribution? Because now we take our next term, negative 9. And I multiply that guy by the negative 6x. Well, negative times the negative is a positive. 9 times 6 is 54, and it's 54x because that was a 6x. Now, what's negative 9 times a 2? That's negative 18. Okay. Now, it's almost very, very similar to the Punnett square. All my answers here back were in blue. They're all lined up here. Okay, now I just want to clean things up. Well, I have negative 18x squared. Any other x squares? Nope. We bring that down. Negative 18x squared. Can I combine? Yes, I can. The 6x and the 54x, which is going to give me 60x. And then the last one here is negative 18, has nobody to combine with. So we just drop them down. And that is our final answer. And again, notice it's in standard form, x squared, x, and then just my constant. All right, guys. Try this one on your own. Again, you're either standard met or beyond standard. It's completely up to you. Pick one. When you're ready to go, hit play, and I'll run through it with you. Okay. So let me go back. All right, so here we go. Standard met. I'll trade this one this time. I'll do this one using double distribution. 5x times 4x, that's 20x to the second. X times x is x to the second. 5x times 3, that's going to give me positive 15x. Negative 1 times 4x, that's negative 4x. Negative 1 times 3, that is going to be negative 3. And again, there's my long polynomial. I just want to clean it up and make sure it's in standard form. X squared comes first, no other x squares to combine it with. 20x squared. 15x minus 4x, that gives us positive 15 minus 4, positive 11x. And lastly, minus 3. All right, and that is it. There's no other like terms I can combine. All right, let's go beyond standard. I'll do Punnett square for this one, like I said. Okay, Punnett square, Punnett square. And again, you should get the same answer whether you use double distribution or Punnett square. So first binomial, let's write up top 5x, and that's a negative 7. On the left, we put another 5x, and this time it's a positive 7. Okay, now again, it's kind of like you're double distributing, just kind of secretly, right, in boxes. So 5 times 5 is 25, and then x times the x gives us x to the second. Okay, let's try that one more time over here. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. And don't forget about that x. There was no other x's, so we still have to carry it over. 5x times positive 7, that's positive 35x. And then negative 7 times positive 7, again, you're multiplying. That gives us negative 49. Okay. Now our answer is hidden in there. I just have to clean it up, combine like terms. I'll start off with the x squared. There's no other x squares. All right, so we bring down 25x to the second power. And I see that I have an x and an x, 35x and a minus 35x. Well, what's 35 minus 35? That's 0. Now again, you could put plus 0x. That's kind of tacky. Nobody puts 0x. And don't even leave it with an x, all right? Leaving it with an x, that means that there's still something here. There's a 1x. So those guys actually canceled out. A positive 35x minus 35x, those are gone. They've been canceled out. Okay, so I don't want to put anything in the middle, but the minus 49, I still bring that guy down. Okay, so that is our final answer, 25x squared minus 49. Okay, sometimes you will get terms in the middle like that that cancel out, but again, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, so watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. All right, guys, try third example here again. All you have to do is pick one. Okay, I have a binomial times a binomial, or I have double distribution, but this time I have a trinomial. Ooh, see if you can figure that out. All right, pause the video. When you're ready, hit play. Okay, so I'll switch it up again. I'll do, I think the last one was Punnett square, so I'll do double distribution for this guy right here. I'm going to throw in that 1 just to remind me that's a 1x. Negative 4 times 1x. Negative 4 times 1, that's negative 4. X times x is x to the second power. Negative 4x times 7. Negative 4 times 7, that's negative 28x. Okay, negative 3 times 1x, that's negative 3x. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 21. All right, let's clean it up here. Standard form and combine like terms. Negative 4x squared. There's no other ones. The negative 28x and the negative 3x gives me negative 31x. Again, they're both negative, so I have to add them together. And then lastly, negative 21. We bring that down. That is it. There's nothing else I can combine. We call it a day. All right, for the beyond. Okay, well, this is going to be a little awkward, right? How do I multiply a binomial times a trinomial? Okay, if you're going to use the Punnett square, it really turns into a Punnett rectangle. So actually, I'll show it. Okay, now you could have done it this way or the other way, but this time it's a binomial, so I leave 2 spots up top, and a trinomial, so I leave 3 spots on the left. You could have also flipped this rectangle around, right? It's okay. But let's set this up. So I have the x, and I have the minus 3. And then all 3 terms, I'm going to put them in each row. 2x to the second, negative 5x. and that's a positive 3. So notice how we break it down. Each term becomes its own row. All right, now let's just multiply through. Let's see, a 1x squared. 1 times 2, that's 2, but x and x to the second is x to the third power. Okay. Negative 3 times 2, negative 6, x to the second power. Okay. Next one is 1 times negative 5, that's negative 5. X times x is x to the second power. Negative 3 times negative 5, negative times the negative is a positive 15x. Okay, the next one, 1x times 3, that's 1 times 3 is 3, and then just an x, that's a positive, by the way. Okay, and I got the last one, negative 3 times a positive 3, that gives us negative 9. All right, now I have 6 terms in there. All I have to do is clean them up and write them in standard form. And the nice thing about kind of the Punnett square is that you'll see like terms go diagonal. So I have 2x squared, 2x to the third, any other 2x to the thirds? Nope. All right, so I'm going to write 2x to the third. That one's gone. I see a x squared, and I also see another x squared. These guys are kind of diagonally lined up here. So why not combine them? Negative 5 and negative 6. It gives me negative 11x to the second power. Okay. So I went from x3, x2, x to the second powers, excuse me. All right, those are gone. Now move on to our x's. I got 15 and I got a 3x. Well, 15x's plus 3x's gives us 18x's. And then lastly, we just have that constant, that minus 9. All right, and there we have it. Multiplied a binomial times a trinomial. All right, last one here, guys, last one here. Take a second. Try it out. When you're ready, hit play. I'm running out of time here. I'm trying to keep this video sharp. But when you're ready, hit play, and you should see the solutions come up. All right, so for standard math, guys, you should have gotten x squared minus 7x plus 12 again. X times x gave me x to the second power. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3. And then negative times a negative, negative 3 times a negative 4, excuse me, gives us a positive 12. And I combined these two in the middle. Negative 4x and negative 3x give us negative 7x. All right. Now for the last one, if you guys notice the Punnett rectangle in this case, I just kind of tilted it on its side. So again, that's up to you. As long as you understand that you're multiplying 2 by 3. So again, it's a 2 by 3. All right. X times x to the third. Again, there was a 1 here. There's 3 there. So that's x to the fourth. All right. And you go through the same thing. X times x to the second will just be x to the third. X times 2 is just 2x. Now 2 times x to the third is 2x to the third. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And there's no other x's, so it stays as x to the second. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Now, when I wrote this in standard form, I started with x to the fourth. I couldn't combine this guy with anything, so I just wrote it in. Negative 4x to the third and positive 2x to the third, both x's to the third. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. This next guy, I went from 4 to power 3 to now 2. No other guy could combine with it, even though I know normally we get diagonals. This time it didn't work out. It's okay. Then I have the positive 2x, no other, just x to the first power, but that's okay. Same thing with the 4, just your constant. All right, guys, so again, tomorrow we'll get a lot more practice in this, and I want to make sure I go back and review, not just, again, multiplying, but adding, subtracting, and multiplication. Again, please don't confuse those guys. I know a lot of you guys wanted to distribute those imaginary ones. That's when you have a plus or a minus in between these, but if we don't see it, this is just a multiplication, so double distribution or Punnett square. All right, guys, so again, remember the deal. I will be collecting your notes, so make sure you turn in your notes if you did it on separate papers. Attach it to your class activity and turn it in. My sub should have the answers. Again, check with them. If everything's perfect, turn it in. Again, both your notes and your class activity. Other than that, guys, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon.